And as we deal with them, we must find a way. We must find a way of handling them that will not actually make them turn into difficult people or problematic people to society at the end of the day. Also, Uganda, of course, is a signatory to international conventions. For instance, the UN Convention on the Rights of Children, the African Charter on the Rights of Women and Children. And it is important that this country, since we are a signatory to most of these conventions, we must abide by them. And as police officers, you are, in most cases, the first point of contact for all these children. Those that come into conflict with the law and those that come into contact with the law. When a child has committed an offense, has committed a crime, they say, take this child to police. Many times they will even call you, oh, see, we have this boy, he's a problem with the community. He's always stealing around. The other day he stole jackfruit from a neighbor. Today he has stolen a chicken. The other time he stole this. The other time he did this. He's always beating other children and so on and so on. So this training, Madam Commissioner, I think it is very relevant for this category of persons that I invited here today. Because they bear the bulk of this burden, especially when it comes to dealing with children. So as we talk about creating a friendly environment for these children to grow up into well-meaning citizens for this country, it is important that we don't traumatize them. Yes, a child has stolen jackfruit. A child has fought. A child has stolen chicken. A child has stolen scrap or a saucepan. This is very common here, especially in the town here. You find younger boys of 12, 13 moving around home, sometimes stealing saucepans and going to sell as scrap. And taking this child to the man's home will actually, instead of aggravate the situation, it might not create the desired change you want. So I think it is very, very critical that we should now begin to think of child-friendly practices that we should employ in order to solve some of these issues. And of course, the aim of these alternative dispute resolution mechanisms to do with children is basically to create a correctional, it's actually for correctional purposes rather than a punitive. Because we should be able to bring this child back on the line, onto the right path, other than thinking, yes, he has stolen chicken, let him pay for his sins. He has stolen a saucepan, yes, let him or her pay for her sins, and so on and so on. Therefore, I am happy, Madam Commissioner, that you have invited the right people, including our key stakeholders, the local council chairpersons, the religious leaders, and the community workers for this training. Many times when we refer some of these cases to the LOCs, they say, police, what is wrong with you? You are not helping us out. We have got this child and brought to you, and again you are referring this child back to us. What is your role? You are breeding criminals, and so on and so on. So it is important that they understand. Next time when we refer some of these cases involving these children to them, they should understand how to deal with them, and it should not become a blame game. On this note, therefore, I want to take this opportunity to declare this training open. I thank you.
There are lessons going on. No, Madam. Smile with your mask. Let her kneel. You people, we are joking. You just leave me alone. I'm done.
Although you have missed yourself.
I'm Senior Superintendent of Police. I'm Senior Superintendent of Police at Haile Maureen, and I'm the Acting Commissioner, Child and Family Protection Department. Today we have a training on the Children Diversion Guidelines, which were developed by the Inspector General of Police in 2019. And the guidelines apply to children who do commit petty offences, who are above the age of 12 but below the age of 18 years. And our participants today include the probation officers, the police officers, the LCs, the religious leaders. We have also representatives from the judiciary and Office of Directorate of Public Prosecutions. Today we want to harmonize issues on cases that involve children, and we are looking at cases like AFRE, malicious damage to property, common assault, criminal trespass, prostitution. Those are some of the cases that we are looking at. And we are saying that children shouldn't enter into the formal justice system, but we should use other alternative means to make sure that children who do commit such minor cases should be pardoned, to make sure that they recognize their mistake. We give them a chance to reform and give them a chance to be able to be responsible citizens in the near future. The police officers are the only ones that have the guidelines for now, but other actors like the probation officers, the judiciary, prosecution don't have the guidelines as of now, including the LCs don't have the guidelines, but preparations are underway to make sure that the justice actors also have their own guidelines to make sure that the system is good. Challenges to deal with children, especially who live on streets, and other children who are below the age of 18 but they do commit offenses. These offenses are in two categories. Others fall under the minor category, and then others fall in capital offense category. But we are only dealing with children, we are only dealing with the cases that are minor in nature according to the law. If it is robbery, if it is maybe defilement, we do not deal with those cases under diversion, but we only deal with theft, we deal with criminal trespass, malicious damage to property, AFRE, common assault or assault. But we also know that there are some children who are below the age of 12 years but do commit some offenses. However, the law doesn't focus on such children, but we only look at those ones who have attained the age of 12, which is the age of criminal responsibility. But we encourage the officers and other actors out there to make sure that they put mechanisms in place to address such issues. We do not believe in detaining children, because detaining should come as a last resort. We prefer to give a child a chance to make sure that they do realize their mistakes, and then try to rehabilitate them and take them back to the community where we believe that they can grow better once they are surrounded by relatives, by family members, and other people who can be able to offer them guidance. We believe in having juvenile cells, right? Is that what you're talking about? Yes, we know that there are children who do offend, and they need to be put somewhere at least to rehabilitate them. But we do not believe that arresting children and institutionalizing them would be the right solution. So that's why we are saying the parents should do their role of guiding their children. The guardians should equally guide the children, we the police officers and other justice actors should make sure that we bring children into the center where we can guide them and they become responsive citizens in the near future, other than arresting them and taking them to detention centers. Detention should be the last resort. I know that there are children who keep on offending, and we cannot keep on pardoning them. We have to connect them to other skilling programs or rehabilitation programs where they can at least be handled. It's not a surprise that he is where he is right now. It's not a surprise that you took the path that you took right now. So what are we trying to learn? That those good things that happened to you, they are still alive in your memory, right? Right or wrong? Okay, now let's take a positive.
Yeah.
Positive?
Positive.
Okay, let's take the two.
Yes. Mine was not from my parents, but
Mhm.
my elder brother.
Yes.
When I was in 7, I performed that.
Go and study. That perhaps maybe I'm not dumb or I'm not dense like people think, but that reinforced his going back to school. Thank you.
The development of a child depends on the brought up also. Whatever you have done to a child when he's still young, the child will capture that one.
Yeah.
And once it captures that one, it will tell what that child will be in the near future when he now grows into an adult. I recall at our home, there was a lot of brutality. Basically, even me, how I was brought up, I could say I was brought up in a brutal family. But in the neighborhood, they were being treated well. And there is a marked difference between us as a family and then those ones who were treated with a lot of love. If it tells any other person that a child needs a lot of love if he is to be developed into a useful fashion. Thank you.
Witnesses? Which other category? We can talk about complainants. But there are also those ones who are in need of care. In need of care and protection. They may come at the police station not as offenders. This one only applies to these ones who are in conflict with the law. But these ones may find themselves at the police station because they are victims, they are either witnesses or complainants, or they simply need care and protection. The likes of the abandoned and missing. And this is a big business for CFPU. So why are we talking about child growth and development today? You've actually simplified my topic. That certain things that are done to you as a child, whether in a positive or negative way, those memories still live with you, isn't it? And there is a way they have impacted on you. To some of us, they've impacted on us negatively, and to some of us, positively. And or some of us have taken both negative and positive, though it may not be in equal measure. To them. True or false? Because you cannot give away what you don't have. If you are shown love, you can show love. If you are not, you don't feel like it, because you cannot give away what you do not have. Back to our parents, or the guardians, or caretakers, relatives, mention them. There are certain things that they really did to correct our behavior, but at times they didn't know how best to do it. For example, my dad. He was a very tough guy. He loved his children, but the problem is that he didn't show he didn't know how to express that kind of love. At times you're beaten and you're not given any reason. Any small thing before you say anything, you're beaten. It was meant to correct you, but they don't give you reasons. Did some of you experience that? Not every punishment was bad, but we also know that there are certain things that were directed towards us in a negative way, and they've impacted us. Impacted on us in a bad way. So likewise, we need to understand why children act the way they do, why they do certain things the way they do, and it helps us to see how to handle these children wherever we meet them. So there are stages of growth, like you said. It's not all about growth, but it's not all about growth physically, but also the social bit. I don't know what I'm communicating something. So there are stages of growth. That at stage A, a child behaves like this, and this is what they do. Stage B, this is what they do. Stage C, this is what they do. So do not get surprised at what children do at certain stages. Because, if I'm not mistaken, you did the same things. Probably. You don't remember, or you were corrected somewhere, somehow. We have a course unit in psychology. It's about child growth and development. When you read, it gives you stages. I will not go into that, but you can take interest and read just to help you understand how children behave. So that it also helps you to be able to manage them. And we have these funds of I think somebody should put those funds, otherwise it is too much. If you can be able to reach the switch, that the things you're supposed to do now, you do not do them, but at a later stage, you start doing them. How many of us love fruits? How many of us love fruits? All of you. What kind of fruits? Some of you are not. They are where they are. Have you? Still on the left, but in our Yes, I know they are juvenile offenders. Another characteristic. What kind of children? Ground rules. What did you say in the morning? Are we all there? Somebody read for us the kind of cases that we are restricting ourselves to. They are victims of circumstance.
Now, that explanation is not bringing me back to the
Adventuring, it's a stage of growth. Not really, because the people who put it in place, they wanted to cure one thing, to make sure that they put them in line. And that's why you see, once they go to court, in most cases they caution and release. And it's also a divertible offense, but only by RSAs or but by magistrates, because it just goes through. Once they go to court, they deliberate and give them a lighter sentence or caution and release. What are we trying to cure? That there are no negotiations by parents.
that I would agree.
By then, it's the boy's family that would suffer. And the girl would be shielded. But all the burden would go to the boy. And this time we are saying, no, let them be held responsible, so that we cure that very problem. But you and I know that to some extent, yes, it may cure something, but not wholly.
You are now thinking. Get out of by thinking that their father could have given. And in actual sense at times, these children go and steal slave. Get this key. And they drive it because he's seeing their father always drive driving and he wants to drive it. So you have to get out of the box and, you know, get out of that traffic law and see how you can be able to, how you should be able to help this child out of it. Are we okay?
Although you know we can disseminate some of this information to them, they should have been here to hear it from the horse's mouth. But I trust that what we have learned here, through the effort of Madame Maureen and the team, has not been in vain. We promise, Madame, that what you have given us, we don't want to end in this room. We shall try our level best to disseminate the same to our colleagues out there in the field. I'm also happy to note that we have been having our leaders here, civic leaders, political leaders, in same training. In the same way, I'm also requesting them to do likewise out there, because they access the community members more than us. We should help us also to pass on this information to them. Madam, in terms of literature, we appreciate what you have given us here, but we shall still behave like a at least by asking for more. This training has mainly been on the delivery of justice to the children, and I want to believe that these children are our future. When we pass, the children come and take over this. Let us first of all love the children, let us help the children, let us guide the children. Today you are a police officer, tomorrow you retire, and then your child can be in the same police serving the community. I don't have much really. I was given an instruction simply to have this case closed. Sorry, not a case, but a session, training session closed. I will do exactly that one by wishing our trainers a safe journey back to Kampala when they travel.